Have you ever felt like you're your own worst enemy? Like you could conquer the world, but you're constantly battling something within yourself? You're not alone. Today, we're going to explore that inner battle, and more importantly, how to win it. Think of our lives as a series of external challenges. We might strive to be more successful at work, or improve our relationships, or even just get through a hectic day. But often, the real challenge lies in our own minds. We can conquer external obstacles, but if we haven't won the war within, can feel like we're still losing. What truly matters is our ability to be mindful, to be aware of our thoughts and feelings. Think of mindfulness like a mirror, reflecting our emotions without judgment, showing us exactly what we're feeling. So, what exactly is this inner self we're talking about? Well, it's a mix of two crucial components. First, there's our thinking, or our perspective. This is how we see the world, our beliefs, and our judgments. For example, you might intellectually understand that anger is harmful, but that doesn't necessarily mean you won't feel angry. And the second part is our feelings. These can be tied to our thoughts, but sometimes they are completely separate. So, if we define our character as the sum of our thoughts and feelings, we can see that character isn't fixed. In fact, we're constantly building new aspects of ourselves, shaping our character based on what we see, what we feel, and the experiences we have. So, if we want to change, where do we begin? Some might suggest it's all about changing your mindset. And while that's a piece of it, it's not the whole picture. Your mindset is like the lens you see the world through. Can be changed relatively easily. We can go to a workshop or read a self-help book and gain a new positive perspective. However, it is only a small part of the overall picture. What truly impacts our lives, what makes us who we are, is how we feel about the things we encounter. And here's where it gets tricky. Changing how we feel isn't as easy as shifting our mindset. It's a slow process of accumulation. It requires us to revisit our feelings in each moment and avoid getting stuck in negative thought patterns. We have to be gentle with ourselves when our minds go to a negative space, and gently move ourselves toward positive thoughts. We need to be incredibly aware of our own feelings, because often, we're constantly gathering negative feelings without even realizing it. We consume negative news, or dwell on issues, or hold onto our anger, and this creates negative cycles. Many of us try to address this by changing our mindset. We might read a book and have a burst of positive thoughts, but our deep-seated feelings remain the same. Thoughts have a limited power in comparison to feelings. To change, we need to nurture our emotional state. For instance, let's say we intellectually understand that problems are a normal part of life. But when faced with an actual problem, we still feel distressed. Our thoughts and feelings aren't aligned. This misalignment is why many struggle to change, because we often experience the same emotions repeatedly, and the negative aspect of our character is reinforced. So how do we shift the way we feel? It's not about changing your mindset alone. It's about shifting your feelings. You have to intentionally bring your feelings into positive territory. If you repeatedly choose to feel good, you become accustomed to it. if we're able to redirect our feelings towards positivity. Even without an amazing positive mindset, life improves. This doesn't mean we deny or suppress negative emotions. Instead, it means we consciously choose to redirect our attention towards more positive feelings. The power of our feelings cannot be overstated. It has more impact on our lives than our thoughts do. We don't always do what we think we should. Our feelings have a powerful pull. And let's not fool ourselves. This isn't a quick fix. It's a process that requires time and patience. Changing your mindset takes very little time. It might take just one great book or a conversation with someone to change your viewpoint. But changing how we feel takes far longer because our feelings are accumulated over a lifetime. If we've been holding on to feelings of anger since childhood, it will take time to unlearn it. This is why it can be incredibly difficult to make real, lasting change. We have to chip away at those old patterns, little by little. It's like slowly uprooting a deeply rooted tree. There are no shortcuts. It's a continuous process of nurturing the good while gently letting go of the bad. Now, when we discuss our character, it's helpful to see it as 3 layers. The first is our behavior, our actions and words. This is the easiest to change. Like when a company trains their employees on how to greet customers. The second layer is our mindset, how we think about things. It's a bit harder to change but can be done by learning new things. But the deepest, most powerful layer is our feelings. This is the layer that holds the most power and the one we need to focus on. If we can control this, we can control the other two. If we experience anger, our mindset might tell us that anger is bad. We try to contain the anger, but if we don't address the feeling, it remains. Our goal is to control external behavior, but at the same time, we must address the core feelings. The reason that we don't change is that we keep on feeling the same things over and over again. We want to change, but we keep on experiencing the same feelings. We might not like the feelings, but we are accustomed to them. We might intellectually understand that something is bad, but there's an underlying current of desire to keep it. So, what do we need to do? When you're experiencing a negative feeling, you have to get yourself out of it. It's essential to make the decision to redirect yourself from negative feelings to positive ones. This requires incredible mindfulness, because our minds will try to justify why we should remain in that negative feeling. We might create reasons why we deserve to feel angry. It's important to separate your feelings from the reasons that cause them. Humans can interact with others without being overwhelmed with negative feelings. We must be mindful and not let feelings of negativity take over our lives. Often, we believe that if we change our thoughts and our actions, our feelings will naturally follow suit. But it does not work that way. Our feelings have to change first. It's like knowing you should let go of something, but not being able to do so immediately. It is a gradual process and requires consistent effort. It's not a matter of simply willing it to happen. You must build the inner strength to release negativity. Over time, you will learn to let go and move on faster. You'll become more adept at releasing negative feelings quicker. But the first step is always recognizing that you are in that space and moving yourself out of it. This is why it's so important to be honest with yourself, to see yourself as you really are without judgment. be like a mirror. The mirror reflects without critique. This self-reflection is how we know where we stand and whether our feelings are leading us toward a positive direction or a negative one. If you're headed towards a negative feeling, redirect yourself. Don't stay in that space, even if you can't replace it with a positive one. Just avoid staying in the negative one. When you're honest with yourself, you have the ability to control your life because you see the source of your feelings. You can manage your perspective and the challenges that come your way. Think about your life as a house with a leaky roof. You can try to fix the furniture getting wet or clean the floor more often, but that is not addressing the main problem. To fix the issue, you have to go to the source. Fix the roof. Similarly, you can change your thoughts and behaviors, but the feelings are the source of your problems. To change your life, you have to change the way you feel. We live in a world that values thoughts over feelings, but feelings have more power. Think of a powerful song or movie that can shift your feelings. Those things have more power than any textbook that you've ever read, because it is your feelings that bring about the shift. Change doesn't happen by understanding. It happens by feeling. It's easy to be skilled around others by showing off your thoughts, but it's another matter to be skillful with yourself. Being skillful with yourself is not about being worldly. It's about being in touch with your feelings. Being honest with yourself means that you cannot pretend. You cannot lie to yourself about how you're feeling. You can lie to others, but you cannot lie to yourself about how you feel, because the feeling is something you can only experience yourself. It's a deeply personal experience. There are things that you can practice, like doing a test or giving a speech. You can get better with practice, but improving your feelings is an act of feeling. You practice positive feelings by feeling them. And when we're feeling negative, we're also practicing and we're getting better at feeling negative. This is why it's so important to be intentional and aware. Often we look at everything around us. We're good at noticing what's far from us and tend to neglect what is near. We use our eyes, but we cannot see our eyes. We think about everything, but often forget to think about our own thinking and feelings. If we don't treat our emotional selves with the utmost care, the changes we wish to see will be very difficult to achieve. This process requires us to fully embrace our current reality, acknowledging our existing emotional patterns without any judgment. It's like accepting the way we feel and then choosing a different path. It's a key to truly transforming your life. We might think we are not angry, but we are. We hide that anger so we don't change. Or we think we're not arrogant when we are. It's like trying to change a habit that's been ingrained for years. It requires patience. The inner work of changing your feelings happens very slowly, but it will happen if you're consistent. This is not about waiting for the feeling to change before you act. We act in spite of our feelings, so that we do not get swallowed by them. We change our external behavior even if the feelings haven't changed yet. If someone is short-tempered, we don't wait for them to become calm before we teach them to communicate kindly. We help them change the behavior now, while they work on the feelings. Changing your feelings is similar to planting a tree. We cannot force it to grow, but we can provide what it needs. We plant, we nurture, and we let it grow. Similarly, you tend to your feelings by continually choosing to release negativity. and cultivate positivity. The process is simple, but it takes time. When you experience negativity, you acknowledge it and remove yourself from it. It will be hard at first, but with each practice it gets easier. The process is always the same, it's about consistency. It's like the tree that grows over 40 years. It doesn't grow faster because it wants to. It grows because of time. Our minds tend to gravitate towards what it's used to. If we're used to negativity, that's what we'll tend towards. The reverse is also true. If we're used to positivity, that's what our minds will seek. Every time we dwell in a negative feeling, we strengthen it. It's like a desert that draws you in. It will require consistent effort to pull yourself out. But if you can train your mind to seek the positive, those positive feelings will become a habit. It's like eating food. You don't expect to grow in one day, but you still continue eating. It becomes part of your life. Similarly, your focus on positivity will also become part of you. Like breathing, you don't have to think about it. This is also what happens when you're changing your feelings. You're not changing them for some end goal. You're changing them to make them part of who you are. You will grow without realizing it. You can be planting your emotional garden and not see the growth, but just like the plants, you are always growing. So, you shouldn't wait for the perfect moment. Start now. And finally, remember that all of this is a balancing act. A lot of this journey is about balancing inner and outer work. It is easy to do external things, but to be with yourself is far more difficult. It is okay to focus on yourself. You have a responsibility to do that. It's like putting your oxygen mask on first before helping others. It's not selfish. It's necessary. You cannot do for others what you are unable to do for yourself. We need to do both. But if you do not help yourself, you will become a burden to others. Help yourself, then help others. Ultimately, the goal is to find peace with yourself and find true freedom. Not the freedom of possessions or power, but the freedom from your own emotional chains. It's a journey of self-discovery, requiring honesty, consistency, and a willingness to feel. It's not about perfection, it's about growth. And remember, you're not alone in this. We're all on this journey together, learning to navigate the complexities of our inner selves.